Sucked in, Ravens, you losers. G'day, Steel Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Yesterday was an awesome game because the Steelers won 18-16 over the Ravens. And the Ravens are now, I think, in the last 10 games, 8-2, or they've won 2 games versus 8. Lamar Jackson and crew just cannot beat the Steelers. But in this video, like I said yesterday in my live stream, I'm going to be doing 3 or 4 videos, or maybe 2 or 3 videos a day, talking about our team that versed the Baltimore Ratbirds, the Ravens, who suck and who are losers, who are coming up with so many excuses. But I wanted to give a massive shout out to Chris Boswell, the absolute legend, because he has made NFL history. Boswell makes history in yesterday's game versus the Ravens. So shout out to the Wizard of Boz. There's my little emoji. If you guys want to be a member of the channel, you get all these little emojis. You get the brown suck, the Raven suck up top there, the top bit right hand corner, all those little things. But I made the little emoji with AI a few weeks ago. Wizard of Boz. Look, the face looks nothing like him, but he's a wizard. He's a sniper. The Wizard of Boz made history yesterday. And let's talk about it. Before we do, I did find this funny comment though on Twitter. Some bloke there, I don't know no idea who that is. But he said, I'm going to name my daughter. He's going to be mad as hell when I name her Chris Boswell Jr. That's how important Chris Boswell was yesterday for the Steelers versus the Ravens. Now, of course, you'll get Ravens fans being salty. Oh, you're the only way you won games or won last night's game was because you kicked field goals. You couldn't score TDs. And I flipped that around. If I hear that on the AFC North Roundtable, which I'm going on in a few days' time, if I hear Ravens fans say that, the only way and the only reason why you won was because of field goals, you couldn't score TDs. Well, if you think that, that means that team, if you think the Steelers were a poor side, not the best football side, and we just only won field goals, well, you got beat by field goals. And your kicker out there, Justin Tucker, he missed 2, but we'll talk about that later on. So let's go into this. Let's talk about and celebrate Chris Boswell making NFL history yesterday versus the Ravens. And also that photo on the left too, that's from a few years back. I believe that's Robert Golden and Marquise Pouncey in the photo. So that wasn't from last night, but it makes a cool little thumbnail. And Boswell makes history. Okay, so we had Mike Tomlin and Chris Boswell. I think it was from the post game. He said, I'm tired of him getting player of the week, every week, right? And he's also in reference to Mike Tomlin and this team. They want to score TDs, but if they can get down the field, a field goal is still half the points, and it has won us game with the Falcons, and it has won us game versus the Ravens. TDs in the red zone must get better. 100%, I agree with that. Mike Tomlin wants this team in this offense to go down the field and get 7 and not settle for 3. However, in these games, Steelers versus Ravens, it's a W, it's a win, you get the job done. So Mike Tomlin said, I'm tired of him getting player of the week. Then we had Cameron Hayward having his say too. And I retweeted and said, thank you for recognizing the best kicker in football. Everyone talks about Justin Tucker. No one really talks about Chris Boswell. He flies under the radar. Cameron Hayward said, it's great to have a kicker like Boswell, man. The dude is on fire. And another guy I'm going to talk about probably today is Patrick Queen. He says, certified sniper, retweeting Cameron Hayward. And that goes back to show you how close this team is. This team is a band of brothers. There's no real drama. It's led by Russell Wilson. Quarterback Justin Fields comes in for a few, runs, gets to 17 yards, and the team rallies behind the quarterback, the receivers, the running back, Chris Boswell. They're a really close group led by Mike Tomlin, so it's good to see. I had some cool things I want to show as well that I found yesterday when I was at the Winners Pub. I was finding all these tweets, all these cool things that Chris Boswell had done, how he broke NFL history. And here's one from Jerry. Jerry Dulac says Chris Boswell is on pace to have the most prolific season by a kicker in league history. He has a league high 29 field goals after 10 games, putting him on track to break the season record of 44 set by San Fran David Akers in 2011. Now, 100%. We don't want to settle steal field goals. You don't really want to see games win 16-13. But if it goes that way, it goes that way, right? And yes, there should have been chances where the Steelers could have had TDs. That pass from Russell Wilson to Washington, I still can't figure that out. Was that on Washington? Was it more on, Russell Wilson? But in saying that, Chris Boswell is on pace to have the most field goals in history. He needs like 15 more over the next 8 games, which could be what, 3 a game, 2 a game, or whatever it may be, to put him in the NFL record books. But here's one other thing I want to talk about too. They always bring up Justin Tucker, and he's the most accurate kicker in the NFL right now. Well, another bloke here, Dale Lolly, says Baltimore Justin Tucker no longer the NFL's all-time most accurate kicker. That's now Eddie Pinheiro. Steelers Chris Boswell is 5th. So think about all the praise, all the love, all the support, all the NFL media talks about is Justin Tucker, right? Think about that. With 89%, and Chris Boswell is like 1% away. And you rarely ever hear about Chris Boswell talk in the media. Their focus is on Justin Tucker. And I reckon Chris Boswell likes that. And I reckon, and I like it too, right? As for Chris Boswell being under the radar, goes in, does his job, takes 1 kick at a time, gets 6 for 6, breaks NFL history, and no one's talking about it in the NFL media. They're all still talking about Justin Tucker's struggles and what's going to happen. Can he get better? He missed 2 field goals, 1 from 50. In his last, in his last few 50 attempts, he's missed numerous of them. I think it's like in this season or in the last few seasons, he's missed like 8 or 9 50s. Someone can stat check me on that or whatever they want to do. But he's missed a fair bit. Justin Tucker from 50 is not, he's not automatic anymore, not anymore. So that tells you from that list, Chris Boswell is climbing it up 88%, and he's 1% behind Justin Tucker for the all-time from 2015 and 2014, right? Here's where it gets really, really interesting, though. And this is how Chris Boswell has broken NFL history. So this was reported by NFL CBS and other outlets out there. It says Chris Boswell has 3 career games with 6+ made field goals, most in NFL history. Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? 6, 3 of them. So out of all the kickers in NFL history, he has 3 games with 6. That's pretty insane. So shout out to Chris Boswell and the Wizard of Oz. Now it gets better because we have our mate here. Hey everybody, Alex Kozora says in NFL history, 44 kickers. And by the way, thank you for all the people who are going at the stats. I just report them. You can follow Alex Kozora on Steelers Depot. You know where he is. And all these guys are, in the media YouTube light. But Alex Kozora, hey everybody, says in NFL history, 44 kickers have made 6 field goals in 1 regular season game, right? Only 7 have done it twice. And Chris Boswell has done it 3 times, 4 including the playoffs. Now, I can remember, of course, the Falcons game that was 18 to something to 10. And there was yesterday's game, 18-16. That's 2. I can also remember the Steelers versus Chiefs. I think we won 18-16 or something similar in the playoff game in 2016. I can't remember, though, the third one. So he's done 3 in the regular season. He's the only kicker to do it in NFL history, and 4 including playoffs. That's a consistent kicker. That is 24 field goals over 4 games, and there's 6 in each one. How amazing is that? We should be celebrating, and the win is the win. I know some Steelers fans are crazy. Oh, we should have won by more points, this and this. It's Raven versus Steelers. It's Chris Boswell going, get him to the 50, get him to a certain spot and give him a chance. Mike Tomlin has such huge trust in Chris Boswell. Get into the 50, get into the 47, get into 50, whatever, have a chance, right? So I thought that was an unbelievable stat that Chris Boswell broke NFL history. 44 kickers made 6 field goals in a regular season game. Only 7 done it twice, and Chris Boswell has done it 3 times, including 4 in the playoffs. Absolutely. If you are members of the channel, make sure you spam the Wizard of Oz emoji in the comments below, right? But let's finish it off on a really, really good note, because yesterday was Steelers versus Ravens, and we won the game 18-16. The Bengals also played the Chargers, and we also saw the Browns completely pretty much ruin their season. Their season done. They're fighting for the number 1 overall draft pick. But I made this up. I went and found out exactly what happened with the kickers yesterday. Week 11 kickers, AFC North kickers, We had Evan McPherson. He had 2 out of 4. He missed 47. He missed 51, and he was the Bengal, right? He missed 2 out of 4 field goals. Chris Boswell Chris Boswell is the best kicker in the AFC North. Not might be. So Evan McPherson for the Bengals missed 2 out of 4, 47 and 51. Justin Tucker versing us, and we saw it live yesterday. He missed 2 field goals. He only made 1. He missed 47 and 50. So old, reliable Justin Tucker is no longer Mr. Automatic from 50. Right? There's still a big chance he goes to the Hall of Fame, but this year he's really struggling, and Chris Boswell is the best kicker in the AFC North. Now, Dustin Hopkins, he plays for the Browns. They versus Saints yesterday. He missed 2 kicks from the 27 and from the 51. And also, to add a note to that, there was a flag that something happened on a play where the Browns got a free first down, and he still missed a field goal. So technically, he missed 3 field goals, and only 2 showed up for it in the record, right? While being Chris Boswell yesterday, and a lot of Ravens fans, you only kick field goals, it doesn't matter, right? He was almost kicking again, 3 TDs. Chris Boswell scored 18 points. MVP stats, right? He could win that this week. He could win it yet again. He should win the AFC Player of the Week, right? Teams player, right? Chris Boswell, 6 for 6. He made 27. These aren't in order. These are from low to high. He made 27, 32, 32, 50, 52, and 57. So while Chris Boswell nailed a 50, nailed a 52, and nailed a 57-yard field goal, the other kickers in the AFC North, McPherson, Tucker, Hopkins, and they're good kickers. McPherson's meant to be one of the best ones in the league. Tucker's meant to be one of the best ones in the league. He missed a 50. They all missed 50. Out of that group of 3, you've had 9 chances to get field goals. They're 3 and 9. And Chris Boswell sits back there and nails 6 for 6. You have to give the man praise. He must get his congratulations, 100%. Chris Boswell from a huge shout out from Steel Nation Oz. Thank you, mate, for nailing those 6 and getting the W over the Ravens, because the other guys in the AFC North, McPherson missing 2, 47-51, 47-50 for Tucker, and Hopkins 27-51. That's 3 out of 9, while Chris Boswell nailed 6 for 6. And I can't stress this enough. Chris Boswell made NFL history as, where'd I put it? This one. NFL history that he's done it now 3 times in a row, including 4. Chris Boswell is building himself. If they allow Justin Tucker, if Tucker gets into the Hall of Fame, then Chris Boswell has to. Because Chris Boswell right now is a much better kicker and more accurate than Tucker. Anyways, I wanted to give Chris Boswell his recognition. For over 13 minutes, I did so. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the video. I will be talking about some more things later on today, and possibly maybe a live. Like I said, I'm not stopping. I heard so much shit from Ravens fans on Twitter, social media, YouTube comments, all this stuff. So much flack, right? And we beat them 18-16. We control the AFC North. That's all I heard. The Steelers won this game, but Ravens fans will tell you that they lost it. No. The Steelers won this game with their defense and with Chris Boswell nailing 6 for 6. 27, 32, 32, 50, 52, 57. Shout out to Chris Boswell, you absolute legend.